Welcome to The Peak, where becoming your best self is our goal. I'm Ashley Russo. On this week's episode, a nonprofit organization inspiring kids of all abilities to share the message of inclusion. How the St. Luke's orthopedic team provides extraordinary care. And an organization that's committed to conservation. All that and more coming up on The Peak. Lehigh Carbon Community College is a fantastic place to get an education, and they offer 90 degrees and programs to choose from. Take a look.
For over 50 years, Lehigh Carbon Community College has been educating students from Carbon, Lehigh, Schuylkill, and other surrounding counties. Founded in 1966, LCC serves nearly 15,000 students and offers more than 90 programs of study in business, education, communication, computer science, technology, humanities, healthcare, science, engineering, and math. The main campus is stretched out over 153 beautiful acres of land in Schnecksville, Pennsylvania. There's also satellite campuses in Allentown, Tamaqua, and the Lehigh Valley International Airport. Lehigh Carbon offers 2-year associate degrees, certificate and specialized diploma programs, and workforce training for students studying full-time, part-time, or online. LCC aims to prepare its diverse community through transformative learning experiences for the needs of an ever-changing world. With such an incredible range of student activities at LCC, you'll always have something to do. You can have your own radio show, play one of 7 sports that compete in the National Junior College Athletic Association, do a workout in the Wellness Center, or read a book in the Rothrock Library. LCC builds a stronger community by providing an accessible, inclusive, equitable, and affordable education to its students. I'm Katie, and that was a peek at the Valley.
What a big, beautiful campus. Up next, a program where kids create moving and dynamic pieces of artwork with a strong message.
We're all individuals. We are yellow spots.
We all connect in many ways.
We are always better together.
We've been doing Wheels of Friendship program for almost 10 years. It was our way to show that everyone can always be included in art. So Mikayla, who couldn't hold a paintbrush, was easily able to get involved by using her wheelchair, and the kids loved doing it with her.
The Wheels of Friendship teaches students unity, it teaches them patience, and it helps them evolve into students who are welcoming of everyone.
I opened my kit, then I saw that I had the canvas and these paper mache cut up things.
I used the purple.
I had orange and pink.
It was kind of fun to look at and think about what we were going to do.
So first you had to grab the glue and put it on the canvas, and then you would put the paper and put glue on top of it.
I used a painting brush. Put down the glue. There's yellow in my box.
All the campuses had a yellow spot because it means that we're all different and unique.
The yellow circle, we cut it and we used it and we put it on the edges of the canvas.
When you put 4 things together, it makes the pattern of a circle, of a yellow spot. The yellow spot of Mikayla's voice.
The line in the middle represents Mikayla's wheelchair.
It is a circle, and a circle is endless. It goes around and round. We're all connected with Mikayla's voice as well, that we want to be kind, we want to be generous, and we want to be embracive of everyone in the school community.
I didn't think that when it all came together it would look anything how it looks.
I think it is beautiful and colorful and good how we all made it.
It's beautiful.
One thing we love about this project that it can be moved and turned different ways, and so everyone can really interact with it.
The fact that you can do so many different designs and so many different customizations with it, it adds more of a blend to it.
I think the students learned to include everybody in this project. Having the students with disabilities feel that they're included sharing that they are similar in some ways, but everybody does have a yellow spot, which makes them unique.
To me, it means that we're all ladybugs in our spots. We all have spots, but each spot is different.
It doesn't matter if you're different. All that matters is that you're nice and kind and unique.
When we meet somebody with a disability, we should become their friend.
I learned that it's okay to be different.
I want my friends to respect me and be kind.
We're always better together.
When anyone sees this beautiful art, I hope they remember Mikayla, our co-presenters, and our inclusion assemblies. Mostly, I hope it reminds them to always be Mikayla's voice.
Mikayla's voice is so impactful, and that artwork is just beautiful. Up next, a close call when I was faced with an accident on a horse. Stay tuned, this is The Peak. Often we share stories of other patients, but this time I was the patient. Take a look at my journey through surgery and therapy after an equipment malfunction on a horse. Horses are a part of who I am. It's something I've done with my mom and my daughter and many, many friends for many years of my life. For me, when I enter the barn and I smell the smells and I see that sweet face with that knicker, I have a calm that I can't quite explain. I'm actually a lifelong equestrian. I've been competing for 42 years and I've never had so much as a scratch. I went to the barn on a Friday afternoon. It was kind of a bonus ride that week, and I was expecting just to have fun, and I had the opportunity to ride a younger horse. Unfortunately, that day I had an equipment malfunction and my girth came loose and my saddle slipped, and I knew pretty quickly I needed to get off, and I made a purposeful decision to dismount. What I didn't realize was that my right foot was caught in the stirrup slightly under the horse, and as I flew through the air, I kind of hinged, and I knew right away that something was really wrong. At that time, I remember thinking I knew there'd be some kind of recovery, but I thought maybe it was a ligament or a tendon. I was pretty surprised to find out that my tibial plateau was broken, and then to learn what that meant.
Ashley's injury was pretty severe. So the tibial plateau is one of the major weight-bearing bones of your lower leg. It sits right kind of below your kneecap and takes pretty much all of the weight of the lower extremity.
So I went home, they told me to elevate, they told me to ice, and to wait. And the next day, which was a Saturday, I actually got a call from Dr. Pat Grogel, who's an orthopedic surgeon at St. Luke's. All right, I'm in the waiting room, St. Luke's Orthopedics. I am really excited. I have my consultation with the surgeon, Dr. Grogel, and I'll find out what steps are next, so stay tuned.
And we need to restore a normal width to your joint, all right? And I think the only way we're going to achieve that is surgically. So that's what that surgery that we talked about tomorrow is going to achieve.
The scariest part of the whole thing was when Dr. Grogel told me that in order to have my tibia get back together and stay together, I would have to have a plate and 3 screws inserted in my leg, and that they would be in me forever. Recovery went really well. Everyone was so helpful and accommodating. Pain is being managed appropriately. I've got some ice chips. I'm waiting on some water I'm going to add electrolytes to, and overall, we're doing well. From the time of the surgery to 6 weeks non-weight bearing, where I had to be only on crutches completely, to another 6 weeks of physical therapy and partial weight bearing and getting back the muscle mass and the balance, it was hard for me to believe in that moment that I needed something so significant that would take so much time for full recovery.
Physical therapy is so important coming off an injury like this, just because as you're not doing anything, especially in a case where you're not weight bearing, those muscles aren't working, so you're getting weaker. You're not using your legs, so the range is likely to decrease. So one thing we do in physical therapy is we try to restore that range of motion. We get you moving, we try to restore that strength. So when you're ready to get back to your normal activities in life, you're ready to do it.
In working with Alex, I was able to get exercises and techniques and things to do at home through that beginning recovery period that I think allowed me to heal really well, but feel like I was doing something.
Based on how things have been going, I expect Ash to make a full recovery back to life before injury. And I know she likes to, work out and exercise pretty intensely, and also with, horseback riding. So I think that's very much in the cards, and I think she should be able to transition very nicely back to that.
I've always known and believed that St. Luke's is the best healthcare around. But to experience it this way made it more personal and really showed me that every person, every step of the way in the culture of St. Luke's cares so deeply about your health and your well-being.
How's your knee feeling?
How's the knee coming along?
How's that knee coming along?
Great. It's not just about the medical care you get, which is unbelievable. It's not just about the technology that you have access to, which is incredible. But it's the people and the caring nature that I think makes the true difference.
Helping patients get back to do what they enjoy and love doing is the reason I do my job. At the end of the day, I want to see them back out there doing what they love and want to do. For Ashley's case, it's the horseback riding.
There's no doubt that I will remain an equestrian and horse lover, just like people go running or go golfing or play with their dog. Horses give me that same sense of peace and calm. Next time I just might check the girth a second time.
All right, joining me today is Dr. Pat Grogel, an orthopedic surgeon at St. Luke's Orthopedic Care. Thanks so much for being here, Dr. Grogel.
Thank you for having me.
You know, before I had this injury, I had never even heard of my tibial plateau. What's the severity of this fracture and how often do you see it? And what does it usually mean for a patient? Was I a typical case?
I want to say it's a fracture at the end of a long bone in your lower extremity, Ashley. So it's the top of your shin bone. And it's an unbelievably important segment of that bone because it becomes the platform for your knee joint. Whereas most of the American public may not be familiar with it, the patients who have had this injury are very familiar because a lot of times it has very long-running potential complications and sequelae. It's usually the product of a very high energy axillary load to your lower extremity.
And so when I came in and you saw my CAT scan, you knew immediately I needed surgery. Why was that such an important step? Why was that necessary for me to heal correctly?
No, I think the sooner we get these corrective surgeries undertaken, better it is for patients. So luckily you were gifted with a soft tissue envelope or skin and muscle that wasn't really substantially or violently injured to the point where it was massively swollen or blistered. So we had the opportunity to work on the surgical repair really within a few days of it happening. And the sooner you have your surgery, the sooner you begin your therapy, and the sooner you begin your recovery.
How important is the physical therapy part of it? And how closely do you work with physical therapy as an orthopedic surgeon to get your patients back to full health?
I mean, the surgery is probably the simplest and the quickest aspect of most of the care that trauma patients undergo. So your surgery was done, Ash, in less than an hour. Your therapy started early, and your therapy, here you are at about 8 weeks after your surgery, and you're at the point where you're walking, bearing weight, and doing well. So what we do is that we work very closely in conjunction with the therapy team because we serve as kind of the folks who create the guidelines for what patients can and cannot do. And you mentioned that you were unable to bear weight for a few weeks, and that was at my request. You know, we have accurately restored the joint surface, and although you have a strong piece of metal hardware supporting the bone, what you need is to avoid extra forces across that bone to give it the best chance of healing in the position that we surgically set it in.
One of the things that struck me through the whole process was how many people are involved. How important is the communication and the team at St. Luke's surrounding you and the orthopedic team to your success?
Foundation of successful outcomes hinges largely upon the team concept. And during your first week of care, Ashley, you probably were interacting with probably upwards of 60 people involved in the care of you and your unique injury, starting with registration in the emergency room, evaluations. You met the CAT scan techs, you were charged home, you came to the office, you met my staff there. The day of surgery, you met nursing staff in the ambulatory surgery suite, you met your anesthesia team, you met the nursing team, you met x-ray techs. So again, there are so many hands involved in the care of one single patient that it's really sometimes hard to fathom.
It really was incredible from start to finish, and I can't thank you enough for making it such a positive experience for me, and I learned so much through it. I'm so grateful that you were my surgeon, and I thank you and your whole team for getting me back on my feet, quite literally. So thank you so much for joining us. Stay tuned, everybody. You're watching The Peak.
Our community is full of artists, entrepreneurs, and leaders. Let's hear from our good friend and local photographer, Marco Calderon, on why he loves the Lehigh Valley. Welcome to Unscripted with Russo. I'm Ashley Russo, and I'm very pleased to have you with us today because we are going to talk to a wonderful friend and collaborator of ASR Media, Marco Calderon. Marco owns Marco Calderon Photography. He is one of the people that I get most excited to see out and about in the community. Marco has an infectious smile and a wonderful way about him, and I'm so glad he could join our podcast Unscripted audience here today. Marco, welcome.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm happy to be here.
You talk about loving the country. I know you also love the Lehigh Valley. So I just want to ask you, what do you love about the Lehigh Valley?
Lehigh Valley has been super welcome, not just to me, to my family, to my accent, to my color, to my love for tacos, for my intentional work. Lehigh Valley is really plural, and it's not just because of the demographics, it's because if you work hard, people remember you. That's my experience. If you are nice, people remember you, and then the energy keeps flowing. I think people in the Lehigh Valley in general don't take things for granted, and that's something that I appreciate and gives me energy every single day. I feel welcome. From the very beginning, yes, I have had a couple of bad experiences, but it's not part of my life. It's just part of my growing experiences. And I don't take that anything personal. Lehigh Valley, it's been the best place to start living in the country, and I don't see myself living anywhere else.
Do you have a favorite place that you like to photograph? I know that's probably hard. You photograph so many things and places and people, but is there something that every time, somewhere that when you go, you're always inspired?
The ocean. In the Lehigh Valley, we don't have an ocean, but I like parks. I like good light from the shadows from the trees. I like trees like Jacobsburg Park. That's one of my favorite places to photograph.
Jacobsburg is so beautiful. So beautiful.
I love tall trees, and I think we're super lucky to in my case, I feel super lucky that I live in Allentown, where you have in 15 minutes one of the most beautiful parks that you can just photograph, with a creek, with a mountain, with some hawks, with some fox, in 15 minutes around this house next to the center of the downtown that is alive as well. So yeah, I'm lucky.
What about food? What do you love to eat here? Are there any places that you really love to frequent, or that you take your family?
I like supporting local businesses, and I don't want to sound biased because they are my neighbors, but I love Union and Fitch. I love that restaurant because it's in the corner of the neighborhood. They're not a chain. I know their families, owners, and I think it's yummy as well. That's one of my favorite places to eat. I like Mexican food. I like really good Mexican, like handmade tacos that are not necessarily Tex-Mex, which I respect, but I don't love.
Can we find those? Where can we find those, Marco, in the Lehigh Valley?
There's a place in Easton named La Plaza. It's a really low-key place. You need to bring cash. Don't expect necessarily the biggest smiles, but yes, the real flavors.
But good food. Marco Calderon, thank you so much for being our guest on Unscripted. Thank you so much for your light and your love of the Lehigh Valley and sharing your talents with all of us. It's a gift to know you and call you a friend. So thank you for being here.
Thank you. I had a lot of fun. Appreciate it.
Everyone, thanks for listening. Until next time, this is Unscripted. For the full interview, visit youtube.com/thepeaktv. And don't forget to subscribe to Unscripted with Russo on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Wildlands Conservancy is committed to serving our region's conservation and environmental needs. Let's hear from some of their supporters on why they're passionate about our land.
It's important to have wildlands because they are focused on conserving the things that make our lives really nice.
It's a tradition, it's part of our Easter morning to come over to the Wildlands every year, and it's a good place for us to just all come out and just be outside.
By protecting our wildlands, we're not only protecting our current environment, but we're protecting our future environment and the very future generations to come.
I live in Center Valley, so I was very familiar with Wildland. And because of the change in the environment on the farm, when I was young, the stream was about a foot deep and a foot wide. Now it keeps getting bigger, and I was looking for a way to have that stop. Wildlands planted about 225 trees and shrubs. People need to know that Wildlands exists and that they will help us.
It's our Lehigh Valley, it's our surrounding area, and everybody's life is literally tied to this land. I'm passionate about biking and hiking and backpacking. During the pandemic, my wife and my kids, together, we went to as many of the preserves that Wildlands manages as possible. Wildlands is important because it allows me to take part in the activities I love in the greater Lehigh Valley.
We're so grateful and we're so lucky to have it right up the road.
Calms me down when I'm like stressed out.
The kids have been coming here for camp and everything since they could.
My favorite things to do are definitely the tubing. I make a lot of friends when I'm here.
Katie's been looking forward to turning 15 so that she could become one of the educators in training at the Wildlands camps in the summer.
Ever since I came here, I admired like all the counselors, and I really wanted to get like a blue shirt.
But because of the pandemic, they didn't have camp in the usual way last summer, so Miss Denise showed up at our house right before her birthday with the blue shirt as a surprise.
And like when I opened the bag, my heart literally stopped. I was feeling this pure happiness.
I'm thrilled to have an organization like Wildlands here in the Lehigh Valley because it allows people who live here and those who are visiting to see the Lehigh Valley in ways that maybe they've never have before.
I want the community to know that Wildlands exists, how they can help us have a better lifestyle.
Wildlands is a prized possession in our backyard. It's a gem. And if you haven't gone on one of their trails or gone on one of their river sojourns, you should. You owe it to yourself to do it, you'll enjoy it, and you'll go back for more.
I've been a longtime supporter of Wildlands, and I think the work they do is so important and needed in our area. I'm Ashley Russo. Thanks for watching. To learn more about anything from today's show, go to our website, thepeaktv.com. And remember, every day is an opportunity to be your best self. This is The Peak. You got the beeping started, but oh, still beeping. Oh, he stopped. I tried to say 3 words at the same time. What a big beauty. Oh, sorry. Nah, we'll wait. So many cars. So let's do that. Portions of this program were paid for by St. Luke's University Health Network. The Peak TV is a production of ASR Media.
Like what you saw? Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you never miss another video.
To see more of the Peak TV, check out our website, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and catch us on WFMZ Channel 69.